Okay, one more minute and we'll get started. Cool. All right. Seems like we still don't have all the signatures on the document. If you don't mind sending the document, but we could get started with status updates. I'll kind of give a little brief from my perspective. Kind of ties into the release planning. Right now, Pack, we're trying to release, go into feature complete for 0.13.0, I believe. And a lot of that has to do with updating the platform API to 0.4 and the lifecycle. We did find an issue earlier today or late yesterday that might require a lifecycle patch in order for default lifecycles to work. But we do have the final last PRs for feature complete, and then we'll probably have to circle back around with a bug fix for once this lifecycle issue is resolved. Trying to think. Other than that, just a reminder, KubeCon, that we have a booth there. If you haven't done, your signups and training, please go ahead and do that. And I guess, Steven, since you're here, do you have any idea on what the login process for that is? Are we able to log in yet?
I don't think so. Although there's a booth builder link that the people who set up the booth can log into, but I think it's like through the normal conference stuff. Like you go to the conference and you show up to the booth as a conference attendee, but that's why they wanted the email to be the same as the registration, so that when you go as a normal attendee, you look like a moderator or something like that. You can do more things. I'm pretty sure how that works. They didn't. For folks who got the original email, I don't think they had any instructions for what to do in the email itself. But if you look at the training material at the bottom, I'm guessing the training material tells you how to show up. Does it? I can reach out to
Yeah.
our event person who set everything up if you want me to. And we were talking about it yesterday, actually. I asked, hey, am I supposed to be able to, do something where I can see where other people would be? And she said, is that in the email somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, I think the email said that we were going to get another email with credentials, but I haven't seen it, and I guess that's maybe more the question. Are we expecting to get that email like right before the conference starts?
So they changed the passwords on the booth builder from email address to registration code. And if you, I got an email about that, I think, but I didn't think that was for people to log in. Is there a different thing?
Again,
Or was that,
I don't know. I think this is where the mystery lies.
I'll take a look at the email again and see if I can find more info.
Cool. All right, that was mostly my stand-up or my status update. I'll ping somebody else. On my left, there's Jesse. Do you have anything to add here?
I don't think so. I need to look at what issues exist that I could maybe help out on, but just kind of watching this meeting for now, see what's up.
Nice. Cool. Welcome. All right. I'll open the floor. I don't know if this popcorn thing will actually work out. Anybody has any status updates?
I can go next. For me, I've been more or less heads down on wrapping up some last minute changes to the GitHub actions that's going to be used to consume new GitHub issues that represent registered build pack requests to add new build packs to the registry. It's looking pretty good, and it's at a point where I'd like to start testing it more heavily. And so my next focus this week is going to be integrating it into the GitHub Buildpacks organization, and just having all those integration points set up, creating the repos that we'll use to where the Buildpacks will be indexed, and then the repo where authentication will take place. So just getting all that set up and start kicking the tires on it is my plan for this week and moving forward. So that's where I'm going to be spending most of my time and focus on.
Any other updates?
I'm checking out what I did the past few days. Right now, I just finished up a PR on working on the platform API, and specifically how it's fixing image inspect so that it now displays the correct default process types. For that, otherwise during this week, just been general bugs, trying to make sure it was finish things up for the new release.
Yay.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Are there any more status updates? Cool. All right. Next is release planning. I think I kind of delve into this a little bit. We are going through with feature complete and hoping that the lifecycle produces another patch release. At least that's the game plan for now. And we'll be able to address that. Anything else for release planning?
Did it enter CCB yesterday or not? Are we kind of like making sure that the fixes get in?
No, that's not.
No, I think right now I'm holding off until these two last things get in, right? So I'm kind of fudging the feature complete period. So it's not until the release branch gets created, that's when it's officially in feature complete.
Okay. That's fair. It's kind of an arbitrary deadline that we set, isn't it?
Exactly. Yep. We just want to stick to some sort of regular cadence. All right. Next on the list, feel free to put any agenda items that you want to discuss with the rest of the team. I've got two on here. One of them is for a move from ZenHub to Milestone. I'm kind of putting this as like a question mark. So there are two things. One of them, the lifecycle, already exclusively uses milestones as a way to track ongoing work and things. And like Pack has already been doing it for tracking the things that are going to go out in a certain release, but they've been after the fact instead of beforehand. So less of a planning tool and more of a statement, I guess you could say. And so one of the ideas that we've been kicking around, and I've been talking to a few people, is moving away from the ZenHub board and less of a prioritization of issues and more towards where everybody can have a say as to what issues they want to work on, but still at the same time allow for maintainers to associate, important issues, whether it be bugs or high-level features that we want to include in certain releases, and have a flexibility of providing both the planning aspect of it and also, kind of statements of what we're actually going to release. So, I mean, in a general, like from a practical standpoint, I think the idea is just no longer using ZenHub and using Milestones as a way to depict what work is going to be done at a certain point in time. I think that'll remove a lot of the overhead of trying to figure out how priorities work within this project. Any questions, comments, concerns on that?
Well, we could take it out.
We probably want to just make sure that that can be surfaced easily, just because I see there's no milestones tab. You have to go into issues and then from there to milestones.
My son is a good size, or
That seems good.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, that could be something that we could post in the contributing and release markdown files that we have, at least for PAC, to start looking at that. Cool. David, do you want to take that as an action item?
yeah, everything.
Cool. All right. If there's nothing else there, the other thing I have is PAC subcommands. So this is a very what was hopefully going to be a small RFC. It's making a drastic change nonetheless. So we want to make sure to get it right. And I think Joe has one of his last statements where he's not a huge fan of the currently proposed config subcommands. And the discussion, I guess, comment I just linked to is one of the finalized proposals or the latest proposals for how config could work. Ultimately, what I'm requesting here is if you all can go take a look, make sure that it looks good, and leave comments or approve this PR, I think that'd be helpful.
I have the space.
That sounds great, because otherwise it looks like, or that depends on how we implement it, but we could kind of remove a bunch of random commands that all do very similar things. Could be nice.
Cool. All right, that's all we have on the agenda. Anybody have any last minute items?
Just kind of getting a sense of milestones. I think we talked about this individually, but so surface it here. So if people think that things should be done, they should just, let's say, tag it with, I assume at this point, 014 milestone, and just so to keep people in the loop on what they think should be done or what they're currently working on.
Yeah, and from my understanding, any contributor of the project has that capability of setting milestones. And one of the things that I want to make sure is clear is that there is no guarantee that those items will make it into that milestone or into that release. And once it gets closer to the release date, some of those items will get essentially dropped and put onto the next upcoming release. So we will continue our release cadence.
Sounds great.
Yeah, we
Cool.
are far from.
If there's nothing else, I guess we could take 12 minutes back. All right. See y'all.
See ya.
Yeah.